Everything you need to know about products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on CL 650.
All right, we are talking about StrataLife here on CL 650. I'm Zach Spencer, and we're going to go around our experts one more time and talk about the different applications when it comes to StrataLife and condo living or townhouse living for the most part. And now, Richard Laub is the president of High Tech Water Management, and I just find it fascinating that you have a system that you can install in a building that can help alleviate or will alleviate these pinhole leaks that are so pervasive in our buildings, right?
Yes, correct.
So how does it work? Quickly, give us the Coles notes again.
Simply, we put a water treatment system in the building that targets the soft water. We add some natural minerals, adjust the pH. We just correct out of the water what's aggressive about it and form those protective coatings. And the benefit of that is just long life and minimal problems. Take a look at our success stories. You know, 15 years ago, we were given the goners, where people said, hey, it might work, but get ready. And you know, they're with us to this day. They haven't repiped. And take a look at the commercial ones we all know here in Richmond. Richmond City Hall uses High Tech. Rogers Arena, Pan Pacific Hotels, Pan Pacific and Whistler. These are all properties that we go to on a Labor Day weekend.
So you
all successful.
We have a situation in British Columbia where we have soft water. And so what you're saying is there's no real minerals in it. We have this beautiful fresh rainwater that goes into our watershed and gets delivered to our homes, but we need minerals.
Yes.
And how does it work?
We have minerals that we make and manufacture right here in Coquitlam and Burnaby, and they're just pure rocks dissolved till they're liquid, and we add a small percentage with some zinc that takes away corrosivity, just like zinc anodes take away corrosivity in boats in the ocean. A little bit of zinc, a little bit of minerals, just adjust out the acidity of the water. Use very high quality equipment that are all computerized. This is all food gradable stuff. It's good for you. It's in most of the things that you buy, whether in your food groups and so on. And we add it to the water, and we very quickly get control of the problem, which is soft water attacking your building. And it's good for you. It's good for the life of the building, and it makes the water healthier and safer for you to drink.
Mentioned that pipes in a house, is another part of the country that has minerals in the water, should last how long?
Well, take a look at Alberta. The average high-rise there, they don't have as many of us. The plumbing is 70-plus years old, problem-free, thanks to some of the minerals coming out of the river. Nature's natural gift.
And how quickly do you see these problems, these pinhole problems, start in new buildings? How long?
Little as 4 to 6 years today. We're always making the pipes pure and better than they did 50 years ago, and unfortunately become more subjected to the attack of the soft water, looking for the minerals.
So how did you find that was the problem? Who had this epiphany moment that it's the water, not the pipes?
I met a company 30 years ago in Edmonton that was building, the 555 Corporation. They're building West Edmonton Mall.
Right.
Fabulous property, but water was their big problem. They asked me to solve it, and you start meeting engineers and you meet people in the know. There's not a lot of them in the world back in those days, and I just took that knowledge and we crafted it into a real science here in Burnaby.
That's great. That's a great success story.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So if we envision the inside of a copper pipe that's been worn away, maybe some pockiness on the inside, and then you put in your chemicals or materials. Minerals, sorry, yeah, thank you. You'd see those pockiness pits filling in.
Yep, that's very correct.
And that would prevent a potential pinhole from happening now there's a coating on the inside?
Well, it's actually kind of a cycle you're talking about. When the water starts out and it starts eating the copper, as odd as this is, once the water dissolves the copper becomes a bacteria. We call it a biofilm. Kind of like you go camp and, Zach, and you forget your toothbrush for a week. You know what your teeth feel like.
Yeah.
That's how your plumbing starts out. And it's eating itself. It's a chemical reaction that nature is designed to break it down.
Yeah.
You talked
so
about
it's sort of self-fulfilling, right?
Self-fulfilling. So we have to stop that reaction. We have to get control of it. And all those little bumps and grooves, unless they've gone through the pipe, we're going to fill them in. Just like a pothole in Alberta in the springtime, we don't throw the road out. We fill them in, and then we get that nice protective coating, and we maintain it. So in a couple of years, you've got an investment in your high-tech system, that coating, you want to protect it. So we just continue on maintaining your water year in, year out for you.
That sounds like an easy answer.
Do you adjust the minerals?
Yeah, there's a control step. If you give me a building and it's 15 years old and in trouble, we've got a control phase we're going through. We're going to adjust different levels, do a lot of follow-ups. Then we're going to get to maintenance, and it's just a lot less of the minerals.
Now, talking about filling, and sanding and caulking. We're bringing in Dave Humphreys now from Remdahl Painting and Restoration. So what's your final thought for people who are living StrataLife and their building is going to need this painting cycle?
Yeah, I think the important thing is to have, if you have a building committee within your strata council or working with your strata council, check your envelope issues out. Check the substrates that you're dealing with.
Because your first line of defense for water,
is
right?
paint. It is. It's the protection for, like I mentioned before, the wood, definitely. Steel components, fibrous cement components. There's just various components, even vinyl, that need that protection that the paint provides. And there's different grades and qualities of paint, so it is important that if they're a knowledgeable council, they can put together their own process of work that they want to see done, and with some easy advice, the grades of paint and that are required. Again, I would then say to them, if they want to get apples to apples tenders, that the best thing is to involve a consultant of some sort or a paint inspector that can put together a tender process for them. So
you guys are segueing so nicely for me, and that's where you bring in your property management company.
Right.
So we have here from Key Pacific Property Management, Drew Grout. Now, we talked about problems with strata councils, and you might not have everybody in agreement about putting things out to tender and getting a new water system in. So your final piece of advice for people who are living in the StrataLife, how to everybody get along and councils to operate?
Well, as I said earlier, you got to be tolerant and considerate of your neighbors. Councils need to be impartial in dealing with problems. They need to follow processes that have been established, and their property manager will help them with in dealing with those issues to minimize them becoming greater problems. In terms of the property itself, you mentioned earlier depreciation reports. A lot of people have opted not to complete those. They've waived the requirement. But
is that because they want to sell?
Because they don't think they need it, or they don't want to spend the money, or they're afraid. There's lots of reasons.
it's a fear.
But the thing is, you don't waive the responsibility to take care of the building by doing that. So you still need to look at the caulking. You still need to look at the plumbing. You still need to talk to people like these two gentlemen to give some advice on how they can deal with issues they may have.
And dealing with a thorny person on the council?
And you just, they're an owner like you. There are times when it gets a little out of hand, and you may need to get some legal advice. But generally speaking, people just want to be treated fairly and openly. And if you're doing that with your owners, it's less likely you're going to have problems with them.
Well, it's been a great conversation today. We just heard Drew Grout there, Director of Strata Services from Key Pacific Property Management, Richard Law, President of High Tech Water Management, and Dave Humphreys, Operations Manager at Remdahl Painting and Restoration. There's so much more we could talk about. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
It's been great having you here, and the show is called StrataLife. I'm Zach Spencer, Experts on Call. This wraps it up for one more show on CL 650.